Hello, I'm Javier Hakeem, and this is Harking Back, a podcast about the pop culture of a lifetime. Whose life? Mine. I'm going back through every year I've been alive and finding out what was going on in that year. This week we're looking at 2020. Ugh, I was 38, and I get it. I bet you probably felt it too as soon as I said the year 2020. There is this aversion to 2020, which I think is quite natural. There's been some TV episodes of shows and some movies that mention the pandemic, and as soon as they do, I've turned them off and thrown the remote across the room like it was possessed, because no one has fun memories about that, you know? It is really hard to think past anything else that happened in that year apart from everyone being driven inside their homes. And the strange thing about it is one of the only global, or mostly global, shared experiences everyone had. Everyone in the world went through lockdown. Well, maybe not Sweden and a couple of others, but any adult you talk to today, pretty much, you could ask, how was your lockdown? Not that you would, because no one wants to talk about it anymore, but you know what I mean? Everyone was going through it. But what a year for introverts, though. They rejoiced. Or read another book. I don't know how they celebrate. And if you were one of those people that enjoyed when events are cancelled, woo, what a year for you. Holy shit. March was when the UK shut down. I remember because I was in between doing comedy stores. Like there used to be a London comedy store and a Manchester one. And I had done the London one when it was like, at that point that weekend, it was big in Italy. And it hit there, and everyone was like, oh, it could be coming here, but the comedy store was like, no, all good. You're doing London this weekend, and then Manchester the next weekend, and within that week, they called and said Manchester's cancelled. In fact, the first, I had pretty much my year full of gigs. Like, comedians plan and get booked in quite far in advance a lot of the time. And I had my year looking pretty good. It was pretty much full. And then on my first day of cancellations, when I first heard about the comedy store in Manchester being pulled and cancelled, I lost 11 gigs in that one day. And I was like, if you lose a gig in one day, there's one thing. If you lose two, like, what's going on? If you lose three, you'd be like, something's happened. Someone's found out something about me. But to lose 11 in one day, like, at least I knew it was just coronavirus. We were still calling it coronavirus back then. I was thinking, like, 11 gigs lost in one day. I thought, it can't get worse than this. And I was like, it's going to get so much worse. I was down to be doing Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Fringe Fest that year as well, as were so many comedians. And we were all messaging each other saying, like, it'll be fine by Edinburgh. Like, we went to lockdown. People were like, hey, this is like March. Edinburgh's in August. We're going to be absolutely fine, guys. Spoiler alert, dear reader. It was not fine. Everything was cancelled. Everyone lost all their work. All the comedians I know, we all lost our jobs overnight. It was shitty. What did I do that year? I parented a lot. Our daughter Clara was 2 years old. I parented a lot. We went to a lot of walks in the park. We looked for rocks because you couldn't play in the playgrounds. And she was just getting onto like proper food. Seems a bit late. No, I was feeding her and it would take ages. No, that's right. She was getting in a sassy phase as a terrible 2-year-old. So it would take like an hour and a half to feed her dinner. Yay! What did I do? I streamed on Twitch. I started streaming. A lot of comedians did. And streaming is grueling. I remember when I first said I was going to start streaming, I had a comedian friend, Steve Wrigley, call me and say, dude, I tried streaming. Just so you know, it's grueling. He said, you need to be streaming so much. And I was like, oh, I've got lots of spare time. But when I started doing it, the amount of time you have to stream to actually make it feasible is nuts. I mean, again, luckily I did have a lot of extra time at nights. That's when I'd mainly do it. And, I made about maybe a few £100 a month from it. And look, it was a lot of fun at the time when there wasn't a lot to be happy about. But I stopped because A, we came out of lockdown eventually and I wanted to go back to what I was better at. And B, I was expending so much energy doing streaming. Like I would just kind of start streaming and talk to the chat and we'd just do this hangout show. But I remember spending so much energy doing the streaming, and especially when I looked at the competition, they were just kind of like play a game lazily and they'd get like hundreds and hundreds of times more viewers than I could get, and they had started later than me. I was like, what am I doing? I'm wasting so much energy for no one to be paying any attention. And I was like, this is not the game for me. But I really enjoyed it while I did it. Met some nice people. It was very fun, but I couldn't keep it going afterwards. I also did a bunch of card trick shots. I do a show called Card Ninja where I throw playing cards, and suddenly I had a lot of time on my hands again. So when I wasn't streaming, I would try to do these ridiculous card throw shots because again, I had a shitload of time. And it all started with there's this UK magician called Dynamo, and at the start of 2020 during lockdown, he issued a card throw challenge, which was just like film yourself throwing a card and put hashtag Dynamo card throw challenge. And I did, and he featured me in his videos, and he actually started messaging me, and he asked me to do a magician's collaboration where magicians would kind of like throw a card at the screen and then would go to the next person. Do you remember the stuntmen started this? Anyway, I'm rambling here. Anyway, I did a lot of card throw videos of trick shots. They're on YouTube. I'll put a link in the Discord if you like. I did a bunch of things which quite quietly, a lot of people doing trick shots at that point, but a lot of their videos would be the same shot over and over again, but into different things, like into a clothespin, but then again the same shot in between two dice, and then the same shot again into the dog clip. Like it's just essentially the same shot over and over again. What I tried to do with my ones was try to make it different each one, and it turned out to be all for naught. Because even though I got got a decent number of views, like the people that were just doing the same shows over and over again were getting millions and millions of views. I'm not bitter at all about them just doing the same thing over and over again, and when I'm trying to do something different. Oh my god, I sound like such a whiny bitch here. Anyway, I worked on mainly those two things during lockdown. Parenting, parenting, streaming, and card throw videos. Anyway, I made a compilation of 3 volumes of card throwing. Anyway, I will put the link in there because I will want to relive the glory days. Some of these throws took me days to do. Anyway, let's look back at things that happened in 2020. Megxit. Harry and Meghan decided to step back from royal duties, which ironically got more press than all of their previous royal duties combined. They were like, we just want to retire from the public eye in California and just get away from all the media so we could just focus on everyday, everyman things like having an exclusive interview with Oprah that goes crazy viral. They're the most, look, hey, we just want to live lives. Look at our new video. Hey, we just want to live normal lives away from this video, away from the public. Check out my new book. It's just hard to believe when that happens, but I do think that they get an overwhelming amount of bad press and negativity. Like, Meghan was voted like the most hated person in the UK one year. I was like, why the fuck? Why? When there are so many people worth hating in the UK more. Deserving. Sorry, I'm just having some water. What else happened in 2020? J-Lo and Shakira performed at the Super Bowl, which I think was a bit insulting to J-Lo. Like, they'd had all these other artists do it on their own before, and she was like, yay, I get the Super Bowl. And they're like, you and Shakira? I mean, she could have done nothing against Shakira. Shakira's awesome, but does not have the back catalogue or the experience of J-Lo, right? Like, J-Lo, she could have done it on her own, because she's a force. Like, as a pop star, she's got an incredible back catalogue full of hits. She must have worked her ass off to look 25 when she was 50 when she did this. I think she's a decent actress, like not anything groundbreaking, but I remember hearing an interview with Matthew McConaughey who said that she was the most consistent actress he'd ever worked with. He was like, every take lasted the same amount of time, and maybe that's not a great compliment, but I guess that's what's showing is she took it seriously, But she must be a nightmare to be in a relationship with. She famously came out and said, like, I don't think I've ever been loved because I don't think the men were capable. You were married 4 times, J-Lo. 4 times. And there's that famous video of, like, Ben Affleck opening the car door for her, and then he shuts in it, and the time it takes him to walk around to the other side, to the driver's side, he's just gone through a mental breakdown. He's just like, Jesus Christ. You can just see it on his face. We've all been there. In 2020, TikTok becomes huge. That's the year it really took off. I mean, in 2020, it gets up to over 2 billion downloads. 2 billion. When 1/4 of the world has your app on their phone, you've done well. Give that marketing department a raise. I mean, I have TikTok. I go on there, I post on there, and then I shut the app because I hate TikTok. Because it's just noise. It's just noise. The second you open it, there's someone there's someone's face 2 centimeters from the camera screaming at you about like kitchen life hacks, or while they're twerking in front of a confused cat. It's just, ugh. At least with the other ones, like you can open it and like, you can silently scroll. But like this one, it's just this video and then this video and then you stop doing it this way. Stop doing this way. Like, fuck off. Ugh. It irks me. It irks me. And I hate that it's the one that most people think that you have to be on. Ugh. Also in 2020, Billie Eilish just wins music by winning 5 Grammys, including Best New Artist, Record of the Year, Album of the Year. Wait, aren't those two the same things? What's the difference between Record of the Year and Album of the Year? What is the difference? I'm not going to Google it right now, but let me know in the Discord if you know what the difference is there. Then she also gets Song of the Year. I could not name you one of Billie Eilish's songs, even though I've covered some of them in this podcast and previous episodes. But good for you, Youth Queen. Honestly, sincerely, like, it's very hard for me to sound sincere, but I am being sincere. Good for you, Billie Eilish. I'm not your demographic. Although one day I hope that you can settle on one colour that you like. Because every picture I see of her, her whole outfit is one colour. She just wakes up and goes, today is green. Well done, Billie Eilish. Elon Musk and his partner Grimes. That can't be her name. Grimes? Oh, shit. I think it is. Elon Musk and Grimes call their baby... How do you even pronounce... it looks like the mathematical formula. They called their baby XA to the E A minus 12. They called him that because they're cunts. What are you doing with a stupid name? Like, it's such a stupid flex. Like, did you do it just for the clickbait? I mean, I know you guys got a bung deal being called Elon and Grimes, but don't take it out on the kid. Elon is just such a dweeb, isn't he? Pretending to be a gamer, and he's like, yeah, I've got lots of good ideas. I don't. He's just such a dick. Imagine being the world's richest man and just like, well, it makes sense that the world's richest man would be the most insufferable as well. Anyway, let's have a look. Things on TV, and TV, holy shit, 2020. TV was like, yes, this is my year. The Last Dance was big. It was a Netflix doco about the Chicago Bulls that I didn't watch. And 13-year-old me is livid that I didn't watch it, because at that age I was convinced that I liked basketball at that age because it's the only sport I didn't completely suck at. Tiger King was king. Looking back, how was this not a sketch? Like, everyone immediately forgot about it, but it was all anyone could talk about in 2020. And you look back at it, and it looks like the cast of Saturday Night Live doing like a season. Like, rather than a sketch that lasts 2 minutes, it's going to last 8 episodes. Can you imagine? It just doesn't make sense. It looks ridiculous. Like, when they pitch this, like, okay, I got a show called Tiger King, and it's about a guy that breeds and keeps tigers. Oh, awesome. Does he look like a king? No, he doesn't. Quite the opposite, actually. Does he have a queen? No, he's gay. I love it. Does he have a nemesis? Yes, and she's also into big cats. Of course she is. And thus, Tiger King took over our lives. I didn't actually finish Tiger King. The novelty wore off on me after about episode 5. I do not care. Love is Blind becomes a hit. You know, the one where they have people in pods where they can't see each other, but they can hear each other. And then at the end they come in, they choose a person and they meet them. The first season was fine, but after that, I think what happened was they just pushed for this engagement. It was all like, whenever you meet this person, you're pretty much going to have to get engaged. Why? Why would you put that on there? I know it's big TV moments. It's just stupid. Anyway, I suggest a follow-up to Love is Blind. I call it Love is Blind and Deaf, where people are put in pods where they can't see or hear each other and see if love blossoms. Hamilton drops on Disney+. I love Hamilton, the musical. I love the writing. I love the music. The ending kind of fizzles out, especially compared to other musicals, but the rest of the show I love. I think the writing is masterful. It's incredible. I do not love Lin-Manuel Miranda playing Hamilton. I'm sorry, but everyone else runs circles around him because they're just such better performers. Like, no disrespect to the guy as a writer. He wrote this amazing musical, but he should relinquish the role. I've seen 2 productions of Hamilton in London, and both of those Hamiltons were leagues better than LMM. Look, I get that he wrote it and he can do what he likes with it. It's very much, you know what it is? It's my ball and we're going to play my rules. And if not going to do that, we're not going to play. It's like, yeah, okay, fine, you're striker, whatever you want, you're the lead. But honestly, I bet you anyone that's watched a production of Hamilton will be like, yeah, the Hamilton who was playing the live version was better than Lin-Manuel Miranda. Sorry, mate. Sorry, my wife hates him. And he hates him. She's just like, and some of the songs he's written for other movies, like for Moana or like Encanto, she hears it and she goes, she can hear him. And like, once you hear the kind of style, you can't really unhear it. And she's like, is this fucking Lin-Manuel? Like, eh. I get it. Anyway, let's have a look at what happened in music while we're talking about musicals. Taylor Swift had dropped a surprise album. It was called Folklore. I didn't know much about Taylor Swift, but I've just finished watching the making of the Eras tour on Disney Plus, and it has 100% made me a Swiftie. Like, she's phenomenal, incredible. Like, I liked her when I found out she writes her own songs, which is a big thing in my book, and especially in the day when pop stars were just like given shit and been told like, oh yeah, I'm an artist. Like, write something. Beyonce releases an album called Black is King, which is a visual album. Also, the internet tells me. So it's a movie or a movie musical. I didn't see the Black is King because I'm racist. That's why I didn't see it. There was a song. Okay, I'm going to talk. I just need to tell you a quick little bit of context here. There was a song that came out in 1991 called "I Want to Sex You Up" by Color Me Bad. It went, "I want to sex you up." And it got everyone all in a tiz because of its chorus and provocative lyrics. Like, don't you know it feels real good? And it's like making love till we drown. Like pretty raunchy stuff. And the people that got mad at that song, I wish I could have presented them at the time with 2020's latest offering of WAP by Cardi B feat. Megan Thee Stallion. WAP, of course, stands for Wet Ass Pussy. That's the name of the song. Sorry, the acronym is the name of the song, but it stands for Wet Ass Pussy. I'd forgotten all about this song. I had to go back and listen to it. It starts by going, "There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house." That's the bass line, right? So that's just the foundation for which the rest of this lyrical odyssey is going to be built on. Just an excerpt from Wet Ass Pussy. Here we go. Extra large and extra hard. Put this pussy right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. High on top, I want to ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. I think is it a metaphor? This pussy is wet. Come take a dive. Sorry. Let me compose myself. This pussy is wet. Come take a dive. Tie me up like I'm a surprise. Bring a bucket and mop for this wet ass pussy. This pussy's so wet. We need maintenance, please. I don't want to spit. I want to gulp. I want to gag. I want to choke. I want you to touch that little dangly thing, that swing in the back of my throat. Just an excerpt from Cardi B's Wet Ass Pussy. I remember I had a friend in New Zealand who filmed, they were in charge of like a team of like a high school girls team of something. And they filmed the girls all singing this song and they were like, yeah, it's really empowering. And I was like, I don't know if a bunch of teenage girls singing like, I want to gag, I want to choke. Is it empowering? If they find it empowering, good for them, I guess. Look, I wonder if in another 30 years, like, you just compare this with Color Me Bad's I Want to Sex You Up from 1991. I wonder if in another 30 years' time, people will look at Cardi B's Wet Ass Pussy with the same playful, innocent cheekiness that we look at Color Me Bad's I Want to Sex You Up. You know, compared to what's coming out then. Like in 30 years' time, we might have people going like, you know, I mean, back then it was just a song about wet ass pussy, you know, it was just harmless. But this new song, frozen semen butt plug is just a bit crass, you know? Oh, how I hark back for the conservative days of wet-ass pussy. Anyway, sorry, we've gone on a bit of a tangent here. Let's look at the top 5 songs of 2020, according to Billboard. At number 5 is Rockstar by DaBaby. I didn't really know the song. I checked it out. It looks like it was an anthem for the Black Lives Matter movement. Otherwise, it sounds incredibly generic to me. Also, how many bands have got a song called Rockstar? Like NERD has it, DaBaby, Smash Mouth, Post Malone, Nickelback, and I will fight you. Nickelback's Rockstar is a fucking banger. I will fight you on that. At number 4, Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa. I mean, it's got a great chorus, awesome chorus, but it's a long walk to get there. The verses are they're just filler. Just get to the chorus. At number 3, The Box. Wow, I didn't know this song either, and it doesn't go anywhere, does it? It's this completely soulless hip-hop track. Like, I found it incredibly boring. At number 2 is Circles by Post Malone. I liked the Joan of Arc aesthetic in the music video. I think that's one of those songs that would be really good to hear this live, which means to say whatever. At number 1, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Love this song. Love it. 80s synth pop inspired lyrics that are actually sung. When I was going through this top 5 and I was going back to all the other ones, I was like, oh my God, no one sings anymore, right? And so this is actually sung. It's great. It's got a banging chorus. When I was in New York, did I mention I was in New York doing a show? I did a season of my show Card Ninja. I did shows for schools as well as the public, and this song was on my pre-show playlist one day when the schools came in, and when it came on, all the children screamed because they recognized it, and they all sang along to it. I was like, oh, listen to them, that's so nice. And then I realized their reaction. I was like, my show is actually going to be a letdown compared to this, and it was. I will say this, like, I found this top 5 pretty uninspiring, apart from number 1, and The Weeknd deserved it. I'm so happy it was number 1. Music, this is my old man screaming at the stars moment. Like, I think music was better. And I can back this up. I can back this up. Recently, I did a weekend in Manchester. And after the show, I went, I didn't feel like going straight back to my hotel room. So I went to a bar full of young people and sat in the corner. And then I realized, like, oh God, I'm the old man in the corner. What a creep. Anyway, I just drank a beer or two. And while I was there, I noticed that a bunch of the young people, the youths, they're on the dance floor. And the songs that they went crazy for were all from the 80s and 90s. Like a Madonna, like, what was it? Like a, you know, the When You Call My, Like a Prayer? Is that it? Anyway, that Madonna song comes on, and everyone just went, yes! And they started dancing really hard. I was like, this is from the 80s, guys. Like, where are your anthems? Anyway, that's my evidence that music was better in my day. Let's move on to video games. Video games that came out in 2020, things like The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima. This is on my to play list. My nephew says it's the best game he's ever played. So I've got to check it out at some point. However, I've got a little bit of open world fatigue. Ori and the Will of the Wisps comes out. Everyone says it's great. I should check it out. Doom Eternal came out this year. I played it. It was very fun at the time, but I don't feel the need to play it again. It felt like a good time at the arcade. Just like, yeah, that was fun. I don't want to play it again. Star Wars Squadrons comes out this year. I had a lot of fun playing this with the VR helmet. I think if you're going to play this, wait until you can borrow or get a VR headset. So much better. Streets of Rage 4 comes out, which I have a big soft spot for. I still think Streets of Rage 2 is the best one in the series. Let's have a look at the top 5 selling video games according to NPD Group, a market research group in the US. So this is going to be US leaning, but they've got data on it. So there you go. Number 5 is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I played the first Assassin's Creed, and I hear these days they're just bloated open world games that you'll just kind of never finish. You know, some game studios these days, they kind of go like, it'll take you 600 hours to complete the game. I don't want it to take 600 hours. Just make me a good, concise game that I can complete in 10. That'd be great. Thank you. At number 4 is Madden NFL 21. I mean, it's not my sport. If there's anything I can imagine that is more boring than watching American football, it's playing a video game about American football. But hey, the numbers don't lie. It's number 4. But in the US, I've got some friends in the UK that love American football. I've tried to watch American football games. They're so stop-start. They take so long. And every time you've got to get the offensive team on, the defensive team off, change the whole team. The plays last 7 seconds. I find it so tedious to watch. Highlights? Sure. No, I can't watch a full game. I don't have 4 hours to do that. And number 3 was Animal Crossing New Horizons. They're really just so close to doing... When I first read that, I thought it was a crossover. Animal Crossing Horizon Zero Dawn, where you have adorable pet creatures and then a flame arrow comes out of the bush and impales it. Now let's go check our crops. Number 2, Call of Duty Modern, who gives a shit? And at number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops, who gives a shit? It's the same game. The hardest working people at whatever studio makes Call of Duty are the marketing department to just make it so oh God, how do we sell the same game again for the 15th year in a row? How do we do it? I remember playing my first Call of Duty game back in 2010. It was Black Ops 2. And I look at the games coming out. It's the same. They're all exactly the same. And all they do is give you that FOMO pitch of oh, there's a new one out. Do you not have the new one? You should definitely get the new one. Stop buying it. Stop buying it. Apparently they're just shit. People are cottoning on to this, right? It's just the same game. Right. Game of the year for me. I was going to say Cyberpunk 2077. Even though I didn't play it until 2025 when they'd fixed all the issues. I know when it first dropped in 2020, it had a lot of bad things going for it. But I did play it once it had all the bugs fixed. And Cyberpunk 2077, it's amazing. It's a masterclass in world building and character building. Some games say, players will really get to play it how they like. And it ends up being are you going to be good or evil? Or are you going to be an arrow or a sword guy? Cyberpunk is the embodiment of this done really well. How do you want to play this? Your character build is so varied. You want to be a roided up melee master? Sure, go for it. You want to be a sniper or a pistol specialist? Go for it. Cyber ninja with throwing knives? Yeah. Ghost hacker? Sure. You chuck on that. On top of that, futuristic vehicles, total customization, and the most immersive open world that I've ever played. And Keanu Reeves. It's excellent. I was going to say this was Game of the Year for me, but my Game of the Year has to go to Hades. Hades, I can't remember a game being this much fun in a long time. Games these days get measured by their story, or voice acting, or lore, or runtime, and they forget about whether a game should be fun or not. It's one of those games you can just pick up and have a run at because it's a roguelike. It's not got this, some games you just go to play and you're oh God, where am I in this open world? I've forgotten the controls. The story is so overwhelming. I know I'm only 15% completed of it. Hades is not like that at all. You just pick it up, have a run, and it's super, super fun. And by the way, it's got all the rest of the stuff on top of that. Great story, voice acting, the lore, it's great. It's set in the ancient Greek mythological underworld. Your character's trying to fight their way out of Hades. They pick up buffs, and it's through each run they pick up different attributes and runs. And it's the combination of these that makes no two runs the same. There's something great in a roguelike where you're not actually burdened by committing to the huge story like an open world thing. It's just fun. It's just fun. And I hadn't had a game that was just one more run, just one more go, like Hades. If you haven't played it, you must play this game. It is hands down one of the best games I've ever played. Let's get into movies. Movies is a weird one because movies in 2020 is really the year that changes everything for movies. The rise of streaming services and the obvious retreat from going to the actual cinemas alters the landscape for how movies are made, released, and how they're graded on being a success or not. It might have been kind of bubbling towards this, with streaming services becoming more of a thing. But 2020 is really the thing that changed the way we look at movies forever. However, there were some movies that came out stubbornly, regardless. Things like Wonder Woman 1984, which I heard was awful. Sonic the Hedgehog comes out, and good on them for changing Sonic. If you don't remember this, they released the first trailer for a live-action Sonic movie with humans, James Marsden, is it? And a CGI Sonic. And the first one they dropped, Sonic just looked like the fans hated the look of Sonic. He looked like he hadn't been employed since 1993 and had developed teeth, human teeth, and a meth addiction. And it just was nightmare fuel. And thank God the studio listened to the fans or just read the YouTube comments from the trailer and went, shall we fix this? And they went, yeah, let's fix this and make him look like he did in the actual game rather than try to make it look like... What if Sonic really existed? You don't want that. It was uncanny Hedgehog Valley. It was awful. So kudos to them for actually fixing it. Onward comes out this year. Do you remember? It was a Pixar movie with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland. Huge stars at the time. That quietly came and then went with a whimper. I remember getting so excited about it. I was like, oh my God, a new Pixar movie is just about to drop. And it's like, wow. And then it was just meh. I think this was the first Pixar movie that I saw that was like, what happened to Pixar? Their movies used to be awesome. Soul also released this year, another Pixar movie. And it was also a bit, like, why would they churn them out like this? Just take your time. And then I think the next year they dropped another one. Anyway, it became quantity, not quality with Pixar from this point. The New Mutants drops this year. It was a X-Men movie about the New Mutants. I don't really know too much about the New Mutants, but I do know that they did piss all marketing for this. Like, I really had to dig to find a trailer when I heard about it coming out. And I looked at the trailer. It looked like it had no idea what it wanted to be. So really in line with all the X-Men movies since X2, really. Also coming out in 2020, Mulan, the live-action remake. The Girl Boss is Born. Nomadland with Frances McDormand, which I think went on to win Best Picture. I watched it. It's fucking boring. So, maybe I'm not getting the levels and the message. I'm like, just looking out here, these no foundation, no hope. No, boring. Birds of Prey comes out. Bad timing. The Gentleman comes out. I started watching The Gentleman, the Guy Ritchie movie, The Gentleman with Hugh Grant. And it might have been the mood I was in at the time, but I turned it off after 20 minutes because it was just so indulgent. Like, it was just Guy Ritchie to the power of Guy Ritchie. I love Guy Ritchie. I love Lock, Stock. I love Snatch. But this was just... Ugh. You know what trope is ruining Guy Ritchie movies? Because I also tried to watch The Gentleman, the TV series. Not confusing at all, having a movie and a TV series named the same thing by the same person. Anyway, do you know what the Guy Ritchie movie trope is really? I've seen it, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. No one is affected by anything. Like, all this horrendous stuff happens. Like, they'll walk into a room and they'll find, like, 3 bodies and a coke strewn about the place, and they'll just be like, oh, look at that. Jules, get the kettle on. Looks like we've got a bit of work to do. Like, no one is like, Jesus Christ, what happened here? Like, everyone just knows. No one is surprised by anything, and everyone knows exactly what to do. Like, there seems to be like some third-party specialist in whatever needs to happen. Like, oh, we found we found a massacre of prostitutes. We better call the baker. And the baker's like, hello, what's going on? Where is it? All right, I'll be there. Yeah. And everyone just goes through like these horrendous high stakes events, just going, oh, this is a bit of inconvenience, isn't it? I've got things to do. Anyway, that's something I've noticed, and maybe you'll notice too. Let's look at the top 5 movies of 2020. At number 5 was Christopher Nolan's Tenet. I watched this and my brain melted. I was barely hanging on to what was going on. I found some bits very predictable. Like, there's one bit where the protagonist is fighting a masked person. I'm like, that's himself from the future that goes back in time. I'm like, okay. I've got a friend who said this is his favourite Christopher Nolan film, and it just gets better and better with repeat viewings, and you understand more, but I haven't managed to do it yet. I'm like, is that indulgent to say, like, by the 5th time you watch my movie, you'll really get it? Fuck you. Oh, I don't have the time. I don't know. There are some movies that I'll happily watch 5 times over, but like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid and I didn't get it. Anyway, number 4 was a movie called My People, My Homeland. I was like, never heard of this. I had to look it up. It's a Chinese movie. And from the trailer, it looks gorgeous. Kind of family drama, spiritual awakening kind of movie. And I was thinking, like, when was the last time a Chinese movie made it into the top 5? Like Crouching Tiger or Hero, but also one that made it into the top 5, but didn't have a huge Western release. This is what I'm talking about with the pandemic skewing things. At number 4 is this Chinese movie that I've never heard of, and I bet a lot of you have never heard of either. Number 3 was Bad Boys for Life, a rare case of a legacy sequel that made money. I saw it, and at the start, I was like, this is a great premise, because at the start, there's a moment where Will Smith's character has to face his own mortality, and I was like, wow, this is cool, because after like, he finally realizes that he's not invincible, and that age does come for us all, and he might not, he might be a bit more reflective, and having a character that's a bit more kind of like wise, a bit more hesitant, and maybe that plays into how he's going to be. No, he just gets over this within 1 minute of screen time, and then it's forgotten for the rest of the movie, and then it just becomes a Bad Boys movie, but with older and slower protagonists. I mean, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It is a Bad Boys movie. It's fine. It's an action movie. It's fine for a Bad Boys movie. I just felt that they really threw this interesting premise away. Like, imagine if we had a Will Smith character that was like dealing with like facing death, and it really affects him. But no, we're just going to have him jump through the air and shoot shit. At number 2 was a movie called The 800. Again, didn't know about this. I had to look it up. The 800 is a Chinese war epic. The 800. This is Shanghai. It looks like Chinese Pearl Harbor. It's like from the filters and like the CGI and stuff. Like, I don't know, but more sincere. This is crazy. Second Chinese film in the top 5. I can feel conspiracy theorists already banging out their blogs claiming that COVID was released in Wuhan to decimate the worldwide box office, to tip the scales in favor of Chinese cinema. Wake up, sheeple. And at number 1, another movie I'd never heard of, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. Did not know about this. I had to check it out. It's it's an anime. No shit. Set in historical Japan about a girl who fights off demons, I think. It's hard to tell from the trailer because it's an anime, but it made me realize, do you know what I love? Because I've watched a bunch of animes. You know what I love about anime movies? They're just so batshit crazy that there is clearly zero studio meddling. There's no... You look at this movie, you're like, there was no higher-ups, no suits, no focus group, no shareholders saying, what the fuck is this? Like, animes are just like one Japanese filmmaker's vision completely unfiltered, and I love that. They're like, I want to have a massacre that makes Kill Bill look like a kid's show in this movie. Yep, no complaints, go for it. I want to have an assassin that wears a pig's head as a helmet and runs with his arms swishing behind his back. Zero pushback on that, go for it. Here's some animators. Fill your boots, mate. Can we please have this implemented at Disney? By the way, this movie, number 1 for 2020, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, this movie grossed $469,000 worldwide. So under $500,000 worldwide. The year before, Endgame made $2.7 billion. Just to show you the drop-off effect from 2019 to 2020. My movie picks of the year, I don't really have any. I really had to look through the lists of what came out in 2020. I'm guessing a lot of movies also like halted. Once lockdown hit, a lot of studios might have just said, no, hold the release. Like Top Gun Maverick, which I will get to next podcast episode. Can't wait to talk about that. But I didn't really have any picks. And even my movie of the year, like, if I had to pick something, I'd say Extraction. That movie with Chris Hemsworth about extracting a hostage from India. It's a kick-ass movie done well. When they actually train the actors how to do things, and they work with the stuntmen so they can use wide angles and make the action very clear, and these long takes and stuff. It's great. It's a refreshing action movie. And kind of nothing else. It was a bit sad. Like, I don't really have a movie that jumped out at me that I was like, oh yeah, this movie. Oh fuck, it's amazing. No, didn't happen. So yeah, that's 2020. Just like, oh no. If there was a slogan for 2020, yeah, oh no. Personally, I hated 2020. There was some good spending time with my daughter. I did spend a lot of time with my daughter. It was great. But personally, it sucked. I essentially lost my job overnight, and I didn't know until that happened just how much of my mental stability relied on working, as I think anyone's does. Like, everyone wants to feel like they're useful, they're doing something, that they're working, because you have a sense of accomplishment and confidence. My self-confidence took a nosedive. I remember, I don't want to say depressed, because I don't know, but I was shit. Yeah, it was awful. I remember I started having these incredibly vivid dreams where Annie had left me, and even now sometimes when I'm feeling a bit down, I might have a similar dream. But during that year, I had a bunch of these dreams where they're always like, I'm finding out that she's left, and she's known for ages. Like, she's there to pick up her stuff, or we're at Clara's birthday and have to see each other or something, and she's moved on and I haven't. And they were just, they're awful. They're always so vivid and they feel so real. And I'd actually wake up going, "Oh God, thank God it's not happened." The first time it happened, what was strange was Annie cared. Like, I must have woken up and looked really shaken, because she was actually comforting and nice. And she was like, "Oh babe, I'm really sorry that happened." And then after like a few, she was like, I'd wake up and she'd be like, "Oh, you had one of those dreams again, didn't you?" And I say, "Yes, I did. Could you just hold me?" And she'd be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" But the weird, bizarre thing is, so Dream Me was just having to deal with this divorce, and not dealing with it at all. And then maybe about a year ago, I had a dream where Annie had left me again, but Dream Me had a date that night in my dream. Like, I was going to be going on a date. So I think Dream Me is finally moving on. I think he's going to be okay, guys. I think he's going to be just fine. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. That is 2020. Thank you for letting me talk about it. I know no one wants to talk about it. I know I've had a bit of a break from the podcast. I've just had a lot of things, and this was on the back burner. So yeah, I'm going to try to get some more episodes out to you a lot more frequently. So look out for that. Thanks so much for listening, and take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!